Chuck, say, bruh, like really, like I'm watching you, and you talking to him like that, you interrupting him, like, dude, that's the president. Like, have some respect, at least for his office. I'm gonna show some kind of dignity and respect and humility. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just wasn't cool. Now, I'm sitting here warming up my little food right here, and I'm sitting here watching. I just couldn't believe the tone you had the audacity to take with him. It was like, really? Like, come on now. Like, at least Nancy at least she was trying to speak, in a diplomatic way. She was going back and forth at first with what she was saying about, what was that they was talking about at first? Um, Congress, I mean, the House and the Senate. And, President Trump was saying that he needed uh, 10 Democrats from the Senate to get that passed. And Nancy was saying, why don't you go through the House? He was like, I can get the House in one session. It don't matter. I can get the House. I got the House, but it don't make sense to get the House if I'm not going to get the Senate. I need to make sure I'm going to get the Senate, then I can go through the process, and she was like, yeah, you can get the House. Why don't you just go through the House first? And that's what she was saying at first. And then she like changed her story in the middle of it. She was like, you ain't gonna get the House. You can't I try to get the House. You're not gonna get the House. I was like, what? You were just saying he was gonna get the House. So I don't know. It just kind of seemed like they didn't really, you know, I don't know. It just like, it didn't seem like the president was taking no type of tone or anything with them. He told him, and then he came with some facts, with some statistics, and was showing them that part of of our border that the wall has been built has had over 90 percentile effectiveness of keeping illegals in our country. Like, he had facts, like, and all they could do is just argue. Like, dude, Schumer, like, Chuck, come on now. Like, he was throwing the Washington Post, like, he was like, the Washington Post gave you a Pinocchio on some, like, why are you bringing this into this conversation? First of all, you got to first of all, did they pray? Let's pray first, and let's all get our minds right, because it's not about us. It's really about this country and allowing God to use us as vessels in our positions in office to help this country continue to thrive and be the best. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it seemed like they was just going at him, and he kept saying stuff. Like, just kept saying like snide remarks. Like, what was that one he was saying about when the president brags about winning North Carolina or North Dakota or some two places, something. I was like, what did you say? Like, come on, you need to get your head in the game. You know what I'm saying? You're in a position for a reason. It is not to sit there and argue with the president. Don't sit there and argue with him. That's not what this whole thing was for. Y'all need to figure out what's going on, because we, as the American people, are suffering. Like, we need help. We need aid, better jobs. We need our economy to continue to grow and thrive. And it's just amazing me that he gonna sit there and come at the president like that. I just like, come on, like, bro, like, calm down. Take your levels 9 down to a level 2. Like, you want it all over your face. I can see it all over his face. His disgust to sit there and talk with the president. Dude, you really don't want to be there, do you? Like, if you really want to be there, it's for, what's your motive? What is your motivation, Chuck? What is your motivation? And I'm not gonna sit here and deny any good that you already have done. Okay. I mean, again, I believe that you are in your off position of office for a reason. And Romans 13 talks about how God he orchestrates, he institutes you guys in. So you can't say that you got there yourself and say that it was all about you. So that's number one. You need to come in knowing your place and what you're there for as a vessel. It's not about you, Chuck. Don't sit there and argue with the president. Like, and he did own it, because you just kept saying 20 times. 20 times you said you shut the government. Yeah, man. Do you understand what's happening? There's 5 million illegal people here. And you see what's happening in Paris. Israel got a good one. They don't let nobody. They got a good immigration system. And we need to have a good immigration system as well. We don't want to deny people to come to our country, the land of the free, the home of the brave. If you big, bold, and brave to come bold, and then come the right way, come correct. Because I'm telling you, once you come correct, you can come in this land of opportunity, and I've seen it. I grew up in West Texas, so I'm really close to the Mexican border. Pretty much Midland, Texas, when I was growing up in the 90s, born in the 80s, going up in the school system, I was most of the time the only black person in my class. It was full of Hispanics and whites. That was where my best friends growing up. I didn't know a lot of black people. Of course, now I'm living in Fort Worth now. There's a whole bunch of black people around here, and I love it. I love this people. But it's also like almost saddening to see my people as well. Like when I first moved to Dallas, I moved to Pleasant Grove, and it was just, you know, it's like they don't care about us. You know, they don't care about our school systems. They don't care about our independent school districts. Like lots of these black families here going through these school systems and going to these schools who are staffed by people who really don't care. They're just passing them through. Because I've had conversations with some of the people that I was ministering with, and it was like, and you have a degree in this, you know, and I don't have a degree in anything. But I can tell you one thing, Midland Independent School District didn't play. They had great teachers, and as hard-headed as I was, I could have learned a whole lot more than what I know now. But I just know that it's time for our people to come up. It's time for America to thrive first. It's time to put us first. We've been putting the world first for so long. Like, all he asking for is $5 billion to build this wall. Like, how can Barack Obama, and he's done a lot of great things. I'm so happy to have had a black president. But how can he give Iran $150 billion? Where do you find that? How can he give him that such large amount of money? And we can't even give our own selves $5 billion to build the wall around us, our country, to protect our country, around our borders. Like, it's just, come on, y'all. Like, it's just, this argument is asinine. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, we need to protect our borders. There are people dying. There's people coming in and killing our country. You know, I used to work for, this will be the last thing I say because I don't want this video to go long. Sorry, 7-8 minutes. But I want to do under 10 minutes. Last thing, I worked for this company called Lifespan Resources of Texas. And I was a marketer, and I had to travel all over Texas. And sometimes I was traveling down south, like where there was only Mexicans. And plus, like I said, I grew up in West Texas. So, you know, I'm just used to Hispanic culture, and I love it. I mean, I grew up on a street, and it was, all I could hear was the boom, 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 boom. Like, you know, just that music, boy, they be jamming, and I love it. But anyway, I just had like, I just had to let that out. Like, I was like, I'm watching this, and I'm like, Chuck, why are you taking that tone with him? Like, yo, like, chill out. Like, maybe you don't need to be a part of this meeting. Get somebody else, because, you know, that's not cool. And like I was saying, when I was working at that company in Lifespan, I had to travel to El Paso, which is pretty much on the border of Mexico and USA, because there's what's that city called? And years past, it was the most dangerous city in the world. It was ranked number one, the most dangerous city in the world. In years past, I can't think of the name, but it's like Juancito or Saito, whatever. And I was told when I was there on travel for work, not you know, that you're next to a city that's to be very violent. People. I had a couple of staff members that wanted to go salsa dancing, and they wanted to go across the border to do it, and so they went. But I was like, I'm staying right here in this Hyatt hotel, because I'm scared. I ain't, I'm hearing all these stories. Y'all telling me all these stories about this city. No, no. But at the end of the day, we need, border security, and it needs to have a wall included. There's much more things that need to happen as well. That's all I'm saying. Peace.